If somebody could go to that zoo and look at the orangutan and not feel that something's wrong, they'd have to have a heart of stone.
If somebody has to come in here and say, well, I don't like the conditions, I can't say how I feel, but they can go jump in the lake.
If animals could talk, then perhaps they could solve the controversy, whether zoos in general, and this one in particular, are inherently inhumane.
In general, we're not pro-zoo. However, zoos that are in place now, most of them have come along in trying to upgrade the conditions to natural habitats. The Scotch Plains Zoo is like going back in time.
Small zoos like the one in Scotch Plains are prisoners of the past.
Come on, Mandy, come up top. Come on.
These intelligent primates are kept indoors in cages that resemble jail cells.
This is something that's going to be changed. There's no question about it. Exactly when it'll get done, that I can't tell you, but it will be done.
Here there is too little room to approximate life in the wild, and there is too little money. Owner Harold Kafka.
How many animals realistically can be kept here?
Right about the amount that we have.
Nina Ostenberg of the U.S. Humane Society says he has about 80 animals too many.
The Scotch Plains Zoo probably is big enough for 2 or 3 animals.
Who's the Humane Society?
Their animal rights?
Where do they get their experience from?
Well, where do you get yours from?
20 years of hands-on.
Do you have a degree in animal husbandry?
No.
Are you any kind of expert?
No, I never tell anybody that I'm an expert.
But in growing numbers, the so-called experts have weighed in against the zoo. Not just the activists, but now inspectors with the state and federal governments. Their reports list page after page of violations. Filthy cages, broken fences, murky pools, unbalanced diets, outdated medicine, contaminated food and water, and inadequate record keeping. But Kafka is frustrated by those findings. Since he took over 2 years ago, he says he has worked hard to change its reputation as one of the worst zoos in the country. He's replaced fencing and has built new cages and pens. Yet still he feels as trapped as some of his animals. Scotch Plains has fined him for not obtaining the adequate work permits, so he can't go ahead with the rest of the site plan until they say so. Red tape, he says, has cost him $70,000.
They're not taking it from me. They're taking it from these animals. And that's what aggravates me.
Not only that, the federal and state regulations are notoriously vague. For instance, New Jersey regulations require cages to allow the animal to perform the normal behavior patterns of its species, a standard virtually impossible to meet. Yet for some 30 years now, visitors have supported the zoo. It has survived primarily on the money generated by ticket sales and educational programs.
For children to see the king of the jungle, the lion, laying hopelessly in a cement slab that's wet, I mean, to me, it's demeaning to the animals, and it certainly isn't teaching anything about man's humanity to his fellow creatures.
We have to temper his request to give us a chance with the mandate of public safety and welfare of the animals. And it is my opinion that he has had enough time.
Larry Harity of New Jersey Fish and Game has allowed the zoo to remain open without a permit since the first of the year. But he has just given the zoo a 2-week deadline to come into compliance.
My last inspection on September 11th, we noted the stockade fence in his parking lot, which had fallen down. A child could gain entry into direct contact with the lions and tigers and bears, and I pointed out to him that I don't agree with his priorities for protecting the public.
Then why is he still in business? Why haven't you shut him down?
That is an option that will be up to him. If he does not comply with our directives, we're moving towards that event.
I gotta tell you that in looking at this lion here, he's not a happy camper. So why not relocate him until you can accommodate him better? Seriously.
Where would you like him to go?
Have you looked?
No, I haven't. I haven't looked.
Have you ever stopped to think that this may not be the best thing for this cat?
I've thought about things like that.
What is most seductive about the zoo is what is most criticized. Here, animals are so close you can actually touch them. But should you? While visitors remain on the outside looking in, they can only wonder what it would be like to be on the inside looking out.
I'm not here every day to make money. I'm not making any money. I have enough to put food on the table for my family and to make sure these animals are taken care of properly, okay? And in the meantime, I'm improving. And if people have a problem with that, well, then damn with them.
Krista Bradford, UPN 9, I-Team.